What's going on today, guys? It's a happy Wednesday here in sunny, who the hell am I kidding? I live in Canada. It is still cold out here and the weather doesn't know what the hell to do with itself. So what I'm going to be doing today for you guys is teaching you actually how to just show yourselves how to be better, because the thing is, I can't hold your hands and just teach you how to be better with top 10 tips to do this and that. I'm actually coming with a top tips video. Damn it! It's going to be useful, but I want to show you guys that I didn't just know how to use the grappling hook like this. I didn't just learn how to use the L-star like this. I didn't get good with grenades by just putting them on. Like, this was all a learning experience, and that's what I'm going to show you guys today. Things like this, like where I tried to throw it in through the other window because I knew that the other one wasn't going to work, and trying things like that, even though it didn't go at all, it kind of builds on for the next moment that I go to do that. And this game, if you didn't notice, I dropped into a game in progress, and what had happened was that team must have gotten wiped as soon as they hit mid-map, and then they got pushed into their spawn. It was so fast, we were down by quite a bit at that point, and I recognized that, and then I just blew out the gate because I didn't want to be caught on the spawn, and I ended up actually doing a reverse spawn trap to them. And I thought it was just fitting since that's what they were doing to these guys, so I ended up patrolling the outskirts, making sure that nobody gets out. If you want to really improve your play, you're going to die a lot. And I've said this a few times, you guys are probably going to see a theme in my videos. For the people that have been subscribed for a while and have watched a few of my videos, like, I have reoccurring themes. And one of them is teaching people how to actually play instead of just showing them what to do. But of course, experience and examples helps. Right now I'm not trying to kill them, I'm actually just doing some suppressive fire. Dodging the L-star or any projectile at range is relatively easy. Obviously the double take, if you one-shot them, they're not gonna have a chance to react. But here, look at this grapple hook. I was thinking about maybe going into the building. I'm like, no, I'm kind of just using the sound right now to guide me. I still want to keep somewhat control of the roof, but I also don't want to make myself too vulnerable from the people in the spawn. An advanced method of tracking people is sound. And in this game, you can space yourself depending on sound if you want to keep yourself at mid-distance or you want to start closing in the distance. And having auto run on your controller is a terrible idea because it means you can't be silent. Here I got greedy, I was hoping to grapple the dude. And here's a mistake. You're gonna notice that I jumped, and I did not actually mean to do that. That's a panic reaction that I've kind of started correcting in my games. Alright, but let's get into how we're going to start learning. Usually you learn from new experiences, and I usually like pushing the boundaries. That's actually going to be a big part of this. Pushing boundaries makes you learn what's possible and what's not. And if you never push those boundaries and you play too safe because you're too concerned about your KD, you're going to end up missing out on a lot of learning experiences and you're not going to improve. The whole learning experience here was about the Titan bubble because I've been slashed out of there. That's why I stayed close enough to my Titan that I could be picked up. I've also had it where I've been sniped out as I jump out of the bubble, so usually I try to just show enough to get my weapon, try to play with not only strafing but also the height because it's curved to make yourself a smaller target. You may have noticed that I turned around when I heard that stalker because I've been shot by pilots or snuck up on while I'm paying too much attention to a Titan. I should have let this guy take my battery. This is actually pretty old footage, so this is when I was learning all these things. That's why you see that I was doing it, and I took note of them. That's why I recorded them. Also, you may have noticed that I got into my Titan before my bubble disappeared. That was also a problem before. If you take too much time and try to do too much damage as a pilot, and then you try to embark and your bubble disappears, you end up taking heavy damage while you're boarding. And that's actually a big deal when you're trying to get the most out of your Titan. This is actually a continuation of the opener when I showed you guys that I came up the ramp, I threw a grenade, then I jumped down, threw a grenade. I decided to just carry that throughout the whole game. All I'm using is grenades, so I'm waiting here right now. I also have the blue line, which means I have it recharging, and when it goes into this corner and doesn't kill this guy, I just lose it. And I decided to just massacre everyone with my L-star. I'm like, okay, that was my one gun show for this game. And then I go right back to the grenades, and I finish off the complete game with it. Honestly, don't be concerned about losing, guys. This is not a tournament. What makes players really good is the ones that are just trying to get as many experiences under their belt and just trying to go through as many scenarios. That's what's going to make you a lot better. And then, of course, working on the things that you need to improve. Grenades is already one of my strong points, but I didn't just get here magically. I had to throw a lot of them. And the thing is, some people are just naturally better with other weapons. And you may find that you find something you're really good with, and then you can start practicing with that. Grenades don't have too much bounce.
But the beauty about trying something like these kind of challenges, I actually have another clip. We'll play that one right at the end if you guys want to stick around, because then that's going to make the video a little long. But it's actually some entertaining footage, and that's actually how I learned, by doing just fun things and just pushing the limit again. The grappling hook is something I've worked on now for a while, and I had to start somewhere. And I started trying to do a lot more grappling melees all of a sudden, and then it just became standard game for me. But it was definitely a learning experience, learning that I didn't always have to grapple the guy directly, how to disengage the hook, using my strafes to even myself out. And this is one of those things where sometimes it's just necessity to learn something new. I ended up behind this car. I ended up doing this in another video where I got behind the other car. But as I watch the footage, I kind of think to myself, I'm like, I should have strafed a little bit more. The counter to this is just an ordnance that would instantly kill you or force you to retreat or do something. But it's those split seconds, though, that sometimes when somebody's onto you to throw an ordnance, or you already start pushing you and they catch you in the throwing animation. So that's why you want to get these scenarios under your belt so you know what to expect. Get yourself pushed into a corner, and then figure out how to get out of it. Right now I didn't have to hit him with my shoulder laser, but I want to learn how to be more consistent up close when there's multiple guys and I need to throw a punch and then throw a laser. I just want to push the limit, and I also fell back onto my Iron Man laser because that thing is just amazing. I usually use it to wipe out more pilots than I do Titans. If I can get both, then, you know, that's what I'll try to go for, because it lasts a decent amount of time and you can just spray it. And I'm aware of how weak I am right now, but again, it's all about pushing limits. I'm like, ugh, I know the splitter rifle isn't too good against pilots from far away, especially when you need to track them. Even when I had the extra spread, it was still pretty hard. And the field of view may be lower in some of these clips around the end, because this is when I was still trying things out. When I was trying to improve with a double take, I brought it into attrition so I couldn't fall back on a secondary. This guy ends up coming in through the window, but it doesn't really help him because he's still in the same lane. But one of the things about coming through the window, it's only actually trickier if you're smooth through getting through it, because if you end up having to grab the ledge or you get stuck, it messes you up as you come through, and then it messes up your shots. So those are things to consider when you're trying to get better. You're going to make mistakes like hitting the side of the window, and that's what happened to him. But the thing is, it does help him improve his play in the end. And let me give you an example of me trying to improve an opener that I know in theory works, but I keep getting gunned down repeatedly. This is pretty savage. I think this guy's going to wipe me like 6 times in a row. I'm going to cut through each one of them, because the thing is, all of them are important, because I fail in each of them for a reason. This one I got outgunned. Plus, I'm not actually, like, I can't picture in my head at this time where the other box is, where they stand on. Like, live fire is still relatively new. I honestly don't get too much time to play these days. So when I do, I need to, like, train in the hyperbolic time chamber. I need to get all these experiences under my belt. This is when I learned that 2 shots just isn't enough sometimes. I told you guys this in the Shuriken video. So you sometimes want to put some extra bullets in them. This is still the same game. I'm going to go up here. I grab the ledge, and even right there I was thinking, maybe that's going to be pretty risky. Luckily, I dodged death that time. I end up throwing another Shuriken over here, hoping to pull somebody in. But since I end up taking damage, I can't capitalize on it, because they can throw any ordnance at this point and kill me, and that's what most people will do. You have to watch out for the arc grenades, all the other stars, just every ordnance. Anything can kill you at this point in the beginning of the match, because some people that don't throw it at the beginning will throw it after. I grabbed the ledge again, and I thought, maybe it's going to cost me. This time, hell yeah, it did. His box is way faster to get on, and by the way, his scope is way nicer than mine. He sees me really clearly, and I've also noticed that there's very little flinch from my bullets to them versus his bullets to me. It really throws off my next shot. So that box right there is definitely a lot easier to get on. And at this point, I was actually getting pretty frustrated, but I thought, no, I can't get too frustrated, but I'm also being super predictable. So I do take the strongest opening straight for the box, and I picture where the other one is, and I get the drop on them. And it took me till the end of this match to get there. But the thing is, now I can actually start doing that. And that's what this whole video has been about. I'm going to leave you with a fun match that we had the other day, where me and whoever else is at the bottom of the scoreboard, because that's what these challenges do. You're not going to score very high, but you are going to learn something. We are doing a just melee frag grenade game. Alright, thanks for watching and checking out my channel. I'm Paper, cut to you, and I'll see you guys next time. Everyone's asleep, so I actually have nothing to do, so I thought I'd just talk through this. And I watched the video just before I did this, so this is kind of like a director's cut of the actor, voice actor, producer,
Credits guy, thumbnail guy. I am a one-man production team now, so if the production sucks, blame one of those guys, but I'm just the commentary guy right now. And let me tell you, the comments guy was really tired after the phase shift video. And since I have some time now, I'm actually going to use it to talk, well, a little bit about the grappling hook. When I was talking about grappling guys, from the front it used to be a lot riskier, but now I found that if I save one of my jumps, I can use it to do a strafe hop that not only helps me dodge their fire, but it also tugs them. So it makes it hard for them to shoot at me, which is a good alternative and a little smooth maneuver to use when they get close to you. But back to comments guy. Phase shift video. I didn't even mention some of the biggest faults, like shooting a guy from mid to long distance is technically, to a good player, it's almost impossible to kill unless it's a one-hit kill. Or if somebody team shots them and it seems like a one-hit kill, or you get hit by a grenade. You know, your options are limited. Like, you have to have surgical precision to kill people at medium to long range without them phasing out of it. If you haven't noticed, comment guy has just punched out commentary guy and taken over the mic. Don't worry, the editor completely censored that. The red light was off. I am commentator guy again. The thing about these grenades is that you have so much time to think about who you want to whip them at. And I used to think that the low range on them was going to be a huge factor when I went from Titanfall 1 to Titanfall 2. But it really isn't. What I'm working on right now is my neutral game. I've gotten off the power cell and I'm on to the ordnance now. So that's a big change for me because it means I'm not relying on my abilities as much. I'm just working more on my gun skill, just regular play. Plus, if when I use a grappling hook, I usually can keep enough of the charge that I don't really need that. When I was using the R97, I actually had, that was the one gun I didn't run with Tactikill. And it still worked out pretty good. I'm actually trying to get off Tactikill as well because on my double take, I like running extra ammo and the quick zoom perk. That's it.